It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast on this, the 20th day of September, 2023. Coming to you from Bedford County, Central Virginia area. And folks, I'm a little under the weather. Nothing bad. Don't jump to conclusions. But my niece had a little bout of the old-fashioned flu. You know, the upset stomach kind, and then you feel like crap for a couple days. Well, she had a little bout of that over the weekend. And apparently I came up with it because it kind of hit me last night about dinner time. And I felt like crap all night. I felt like crap all day today. She tells me I got another day of it or so, and I'll bounce right back. So I can live through that, I guess. All right, don't forget today, folks, at 12 o'clock, at 12 noon, I'm going to be doing the solo cruise deal show for Passion for Cruises USA Solos. We'll have a couple deals, plus the deadline for the January 28th Epic cruise is Monday. So next Monday is the deadline. Hopefully we can get an extension on that, but you never can tell in dealing with Norwegian. All right, the headlines. The main story, headline for today, the main top story is ships return to Venice. Royal Caribbean Group completes their biofuel testing. MSC Preziosa, cruise ship too big for Port Stornoway. We'll talk about what they did for that one. Some pretty extensive expansion from Disney. And of course, a weather update, that and a lot more live here at 11 o'clock. Today, folks, is Pepperoni Pizza Day. No doubt about it. I can do that if I feel like eating pizza. Anyway, right now. Yeah. But, yeah, today's Pepperoni Pizza Day. So you guys know what to do about that. If you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome here. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. Anytime you're listening to the podcast, if you want to jump over to the video feed, there's always a link in the description of your podcast to do just that. And feel free to jump over anytime you want to check out pictures, clips, interviews, whatever I might be using on the show that day. So, first of all, since we're running up on a deadline of this, let me run over the Norwegian Epic deal again for everyone. The cruise itself is January the 28th on the Norwegian Epic from Port Canaveral. It is a 7-night cruise. It goes to Great Stirrup Cay, Amber Cove, which is one of my favorite ports, San Juan, which is has some great excursions in San Juan, and St. Thomas. The price on the cruise is $1,143 inside and $2,001 for the balcony. And that includes all taxes, port charges, and all 4 perks on both. What are the 4 perks? You get, of course, the open bar, specialty dining, which is I believe it is one specialty dining restaurant, $50 excursion credit for shore excursions. If you can do 2 in one day, then you get $100. But the $50 shore excursions and the 150 minutes of Wi-Fi. And that is, how do you get it? You just call Passion for Cruises USA at 1-866-312-2314. Again, the deadline is Monday. I will be hosting that one. We talked yesterday about trying to get the schedule of hosted cruises on ahead a little bit. And so we'll see if that doesn't happen here in the next little bit. So that is the cruise for January 28th. We still have some openings, folks. We've got 18 cabins sold. I believe it's 9 and 9, 9 insides and 9 balconies. And we still have probably that many cabins left. So jump in. Come on, join us. We'll have a good time. All right. Couple things to cover before we get to business. That's our friend Lizzie Lou. Lizzie Lou was in Mykonos yesterday. Joanne, Joanne had problems dodging around the storm and so forth. She did get to see the Northern Lights. So Joanne has now witnessed the Aurora Borealis, and congratulations to her. Still something I haven't done, but Joanne, I'm certainly glad you got to see that. This is Emma Watts. I think Emma's a travel agent, if I'm not mistaken, but from Europe. But she's been following me for some time. And that's on her left arm is her husband, and on her right arm is her son. Her son works for Cunard on Queen Victoria. Emma and the hubster got to go on the Queen Victoria, and her son was at the helm. So that was pretty cool thing for the family. And that's Emma relaxing. Looks like on the solarium of the Queen Victoria. Now the other Emma, that's our Emma. Our Emma is on the Spectrum of the Seas, and she's enjoying a little beverage there in the solarium on Spectrum of the Seas. So my friend Sylvia, was in Milwaukee. She actually got home last night, but this was one of the posts over the weekend. This is from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. I had no idea, folks, but that's from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame, and they have literally tens of thousands of bobbleheads. Makes my collection of 5 look pretty wicked, I'll tell you. So if you're ever in Milwaukee, go to the Bobblehead Hall of Fame. And then our buddy Luke and Gavin, the cruise monkeys, are on the Valiant Lady on Virgin Voyages. And I'm sure they are misbehaving as normal. But I do have a point here. Isn't there some kind of rule against driving a hammock with an adult beverage in your hand? I'm just saying, I don't want you to get in trouble. But that's my buddies, the cruise monkeys. I have fun with them. I love Luke and Gavin to death. All right. That's pretty cool. We do have to talk about the weather today. This, of course, is Hurricane Nigel, and she's about done, folks. Nigel is holding steady. It's about 590 miles east-northeast of Bermuda. Winds have dropped down to about 100 miles an hour. She's still moving north about 16. Pressure has come up to 971. Nigel has likely reached its peak intensity, with gradual weakening expected to start later today, followed by a faster rate of weakening on Friday. Nigel is forecast to become post-tropical cyclone by sometime tomorrow, and she will begin turning to the northeast today. So she's just going to continue out there, totally away from anything. This is a new wave right off the coast of Africa. There's no information on that unless it's been put up in the last few minutes, and I don't see any. So that will probably be on tap for tomorrow. In the Pacific, this is now a tropical storm, Kenneth. It's our buddy Kenneth up in Pennsylvania, named after him. Kenneth could strengthen slightly today. She's about 995 miles west-southwest of the southern tip of Baja. Maximum sustained winds are currently 45 miles an hour. She's moving west at 10. Central pressure is still 1,003. A turn toward the west-northwest is expected later today, followed by a hard turn toward the northwest and then north-northwest tomorrow and tomorrow night. Some strengthening is possible through the day. Weakening is expected to begin on Thursday, and this is not going to interfere with anything, and it's going to go away. That is my projection, at least. Neither of the storms are going to bother anybody. So, all right. I'll be back with a couple news stories. Not a great deal of news today, but a couple stories after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. Then the top story today, cruise ships will return to the primary cruise port in Venice at Marittima, that's Stazione Marittima, in the spring of 2027, announced Fulvio Lino Di Blasio, president of the Port Authority of Venice and Chioggia. This marks a turning point after the ban on large ships' access to San Marco, which was imposed by Prime Minister Mario Draghi in 2021. Under the new plan, entry into Marittima will be allowed to vessels with a maximum weight of 60,000 gross tons and a length of 250 meters. These ships will no longer pass in front of the iconic San Marco Basin, a move aimed at alleviating concerns about the environmental impact and preserving the city's historic architecture. Instead, they will access Marittima through the Vittorio Emanuele the third canal. Venice Mayor Luigi Brugnero expressed his support for the situation, emphasizing the importance of sustainable development in the city's future. He stated, "In the Port of Venice, we are continuing along the line that I've always supported and in which the citizens have placed their trust in me. The larger ships will approach Marghera, while the smaller ones will reach Maritime Station through Vittorio Emanuele Canal. It is the demonstration that sustainable development is possible, combining work and the environment, looking to the future of our children." Now, the interesting thing about that is that was the wrong picture. The picture from Venice got eaten. Okay. So Venice is going to allow ships in 27. That's the plan at this point. It's still going to be under strict regulations and strict protocols. All right, the next story today has to deal with Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean Group announced the completion of over 12 consecutive weeks of biofuel testing in Europe in a press release. This is a quote, "This is a pivotal moment for Royal Caribbean's group alternative fuel journey," said Jason Liberty, president and CEO of Royal Caribbean Group. "Following our successful trial of biofuels, we are one step closer to bringing our vision for net zero cruising to life as we strive to protect and promote the vibrant oceans we sail. We are determined to accelerate innovation and improve how we deliver vacation experiences responsibly." Royal Caribbean International's Symphony of the Sea became the first ship in the maritime industry to successfully test and use a biofuel blend to meet part of the ship's fuel needs in September. The company confirmed that the onboard technical systems met operational standards without safety concerns. The tests across Europe also provided relevant insights to understand the availability and scalability of biofuel in the region. Symphony of the Seas, along with Celebrity Apex, have both accomplished multiple sailings using biofuel and provided data on the fuel's capability, which will help accelerate Royal Caribbean's group plans to continue testing the use of different types of biofuels on upcoming European sailings this fall. So, congratulations to Royal and all their families. Okay, so now we got to go back to the Preziosa, which was the picture that I used on the Venice story. You know, folks, I got to screw something up every day. All right, a massive cruise vessel, it's actually longer than 7 jumbo jets, found itself in a predicament when it couldn't fit into a Scottish port this week. The MSC Preziosa had her sights set on docking at Stornoway in the Outer Hebrides. Stornoway, the principal town in the Western Isles and the administrative center of Lewis and Harris, has a population of 6,000, just slightly more than the Preziosa's minimum passenger capacity of 4,378. The liner boasts 1,700 staterooms and requires 1,390 crew or staff members to ensure smooth operations when fully occupied. MSC Preziosa, due to her significant length, she's 1,093 feet long with a 29-foot draft, was too large to berth at Stornoway's dock. Instead, she had to remain anchored on the outer area south of Amish Lighthouse for the duration of the cruise. A similar situation occurred recently when a smaller ship visited a small Cornish town, causing some of the locals to object to that one. Spirit of Adventure arrived in Fowlery in early September, increasing the town's population of 2,200 by nearly half, thanks to the maximum capacity of 987. This substantial vessel became the largest passenger ship ever to visit the charming town, according to Fowlery Harbor's records. Okay. Walt Disney Company plans to nearly double the investment in its parks, experiences, and products segment, which includes the cruise industry. It's going to approximately add $60 billion, that's with a B, in investment over the next 10 years. This will entail expanding and enhancing domestic and international capabilities and prioritizing hang on, I lost my place. And prioritizing anticipated projects, that is, prioritizing projects anticipated to generate strong returns consistent with the approach of allocating capital in a disciplined and balanced manner. The company gave a financial update yesterday. Revenue in the parks, experience, and product segment has increased at a compound annual growth of 6% since 2017 and is expected to reach 32.3 billion in 2023, while operating income during the same period has risen at more than 8% and is projected to hit 9.2 billion this year. Disney Cruise Line has fourth quarter booked occupancy of 98% and claims double the yield of the rest of the cruise industry based on 2023 metrics and a double-digit return on investment. Disney Treasure is due to enter service in December, following the mid-year opening of the new private Bahamas destination, Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. A third 144 gross ton Wish-class ship is coming in 2025, known as the Disney Adventure. That used to be the Global Dream. Remember, Disney bought it for a song. Well, it's been reworked and coming out next year. We believe the company's financial condition is strong and that its cash balances, other liquid access, operating cash flow, access to capital markets, and borrowing capacity under current bank facilities taken together provide adequate resources to fund ongoing operating requirements, contractual obligations, upcoming debt maturities, as well as future capital expenditures related to the expansion of existing businesses and the development of new projects, said Walt Disney Company in their presentation. All right. That's actually going to wrap up the news portion of today's show. I've got a little bit of time, so let's go check the chat room out before I have to run to do the solo show. Ken is with us. Steve's here in Kentucky. There's Emily, bright and early again. Nikki's with us. Hot Air Tom is here. Dennis is with us. Hi, Dennis. I will have to celebrate with some pepperoni pizza. Well, thank goodness Emily likes something that we have on the show. Hot Air Tom says, I'm sitting in the car at Mom's building. She does not expect me till 11:30. Preziosa, roll the R, Preziosa, because ZZ and TZ sound as pizza and piazza. Preziosa. And yes, the S has a Z sound when preceded and followed by vowels. Thank you, Dennis. Tom's a little early. Yes, he is. Had some more chicken pot pie yesterday at the Amish restaurant, and then an apple dumpling to go for later. Had half for supper, and the rest is waiting in the fridge for tonight. What flavor Whoopie Pies, Tom? The pumpkin Whoopie Pies are an Amish favorite. Hot Air says, you know what? I didn't get anything from Gretchen today. Did I miss that, or did she not post anything? I'll have to check on that one. She might still be in the air too. Hot Air says, hi, Cindy. As my wife in Richmond, who did not come along, she is watching on the big screen TV. Enjoy, Tom, says him. Dennis, peanut butter filling with chocolate shells. I could probably deal with that one too. Delicious. Bring home apple butter. Taste delicious. Spread on buttered toast with breakfast tea. And bring home their pasture-raised eggs, too. Cindy needs some shoe fly pie. She said, what'd she say? She said the one I heard Chillie showed you the other day. Oh, she said that Hot Air ate the one that I showed. Yes, he did. That's the way he rolls, Cindy. The Cane had Nigel heading to Iceland, but winds only 65 miles an hour upon landfall there. Yeah, that can still cause some trouble in Iceland because they're not used to it. But yeah, it's possible. I have not yet had pumpkin whoopie pie. That sounds quite good. How about some peanut butter long johns from Achenbach? Yummy Bakery in Bearville. It depends on the filling. I've had some good and not so good fillings. I had a normal whoopie pie and the whole filling was gritty and sweet. It's pumpkin bread cake with a traditional Amish whoopie pie filling. Mike's with us. Good morning, Mike. Stazione. Stazione. Okay. Cindy has an order in for a good cream-filled donut due to Chillie's cream-filled donut day last week. Very good, Cindy. That's Tom's Cindy. Not until 2027, Fooey. Planning to visit Venice next fall. It's so far from the cruise port to the city. Yes, it is. Dennis, hot article in the Richmond paper today, how to pronounce the Powhite Expressway in Richmond. Venice Mayor Bruniara, roll the R's. Bruniaro. Okay. Bruniaro. Okay. Sorry, Mayor. I screwed up your name. Powhite or Powhite. I say poor white. I say Powhite. The tolls make us white folk poor, and they just raised the tolls from 70 to $1. Yeah, I tell GPS to keep me off the toll roads in Richmond because I never have the right change for them. I never remember it when I'm going over there. So I just tell Gigi to keep me away from the toll booths. And she does. If it takes me 5 minutes longer, I don't care. I hate this, and because they don't have people in the toll booths anymore. So you have to, throw in the exact change, or you get a ticket. No, can't do that. Preziosa. Roll the R. I know I'm not rolling my R's. Don't forget the Manhattan story. New York City is looking to legislation requiring ships to use port power and not be allowed to use the terminals in Manhattan and Brooklyn. Yeah, I saw that this morning. There's one major problem with the story, Tom. Red Hook, that's Brooklyn, has shore power. Manhattan doesn't. So what good is it going to do that they pass the legislation that the ships have to hook up shore power when they're in port, which will improve the smog, the pollutants, but they got to have shore power available for the ships in Manhattan to do it, because that's where the most of the ships are. There's fewer ships in Red Hook. It's smaller. So that's why I didn't use that story today. It's an effort. It was promoted as an effort to keep cruises out of New York. No, it wasn't. It's an effort to make the ships that are there do things more sustainable, which the cruise ship industry is doing anyway. And yeah, if Manhattan has shore power available, then tell them they have to hook up to it. That's fine then, but you can't tell them they have to hook up to it if they don't have it available. So, Emily knows about the original Whoopie Pies. Disney has to compete with Universal's upcoming epic theme park, Steve's Whoopie Pies. Yeah. Whoopie Pies come from Pennsylvania Dutch country. Maine is a copycat, but they have them everywhere in Maine. Steve's brand also has the peanut butter filling, but it's not a strong peanut butter flavor. The only place I've had Whoopie Pies is in Maine. Piazza. Did I do that one wrong too? Piazza. Pizza with an ah in the middle. Piazza. Okay. Work on your Z's. Piazza. Stazione. Okay, got that one. It's better to stay near the Venice airport or on the island that is accessible by water taxi. Chillie needs an easy pass. Yeah, but I never use it except what few times I'm in Richmond. So I don't know. I even have the Florida Sun Pass to switch out. Yeah. Well, it depends on if I'm going to start driving back and forth. I'm looking, to be perfectly honest with you, since some of you know that the new chair, the C2, is heavier than I can lift up and put in the car. And taking it apart and putting it back together, while I can do it, is going to be a royal pain in the you know what. So I'm looking at putting one of the automatic lifts on the back where I would just drive up on the lift, get off the chair, push the button that raises it up, strap it down so that I can go on and drive so it's high enough not to drag or anything like that. So it cost me about $1,500, but I am seriously looking at that as an option. But we'll see. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today, folks. Again, I've got the solo cruise show coming up very shortly. I hope some of you will join me for that one, as we got several things to go over. Don't forget, the deadline is Monday on the January 28th Epic hosted cruise that I'll be hosting. If any of you are interested in joining, whether you're solo or dual occupancy, let me know. Well, we've got some prices. I can work it out for you. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for now. See everybody back here at 1 o'clock if you can. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel for Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. As always, smash that like button. Please take this as my invitation to subscribe to this channel. It costs you nothing, and it'll help me out a bunch. The bell notification will tell you when I go live or when I post a new video. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'll see everybody either at 12 or tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. Later, everybody.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.